Welcome to Because You Need to Know. I am Edwin K. Morse, President and founder of Pioneer Knowledge Services. This series is your digital resource of valuable conversations with nonprofit and knowledge management enthusiasts from across industries and from around the globe.
Hello, my name is Karima Cherif. I live in Rome, Italy. Of course, there's a lot of interesting things near me, I guess, in Rome. I'm very lucky. But if I have to say one, I would say Colosseum is an amazing piece of art, I would say, architecture I'm lucky to have around me. Absolutely love working anything that has to do with communications, but with an impact in social life or in behavior. So anything that has to do with making a change using my skills, which will be communications and public relations and knowledge management. My most fantastic job and work experience is really having to work with people, and not just people in general, but really the let's say the poorest of the poorest. And I think I was really blessed to be able to do this work. And I gained the most knowledge from them, actually talking about knowledge. And I would not be able to do that without my mentor, which she was my first supervisor. Being a woman, a mentor by a woman, it was very important for me. Her name is Abla Benamouche. She was a country director for the International Fund for Agricultural Development. And I've actually had my experience on the field. And I lived over 1 year in Zambia with her. And then I was really able to see an example of a great woman. And I also loved that until she retired, she was still passionate about her job and even try and strive to be better all the time. So I really love her example, and I'm trying to follow that.
How did you become compassionate or passionate around this kind of work? You said communication and helping people to achieve things with social impact was important. How did you find yourself in this work to begin with?
I really always say that's like my natural vocation. I just felt I just was born like that. I also have a great example, which was my dad. And I guess since I was a baby, he was also working in this sector. So I guess that has a big part in that. So I really always grew up with the idea of helping others, and then I'm just like a natural vocation in being very social and have also this creative mind. So I really think I found myself and I just made a job out of it, which is what they say, do what you love and you never work one day in your life.
Exactly. So I love that.
That's basically, I took that literally.
One thing that seems to be an opportunity here is that, one, you're working in a nonprofit, right? You're in a global nonprofit, correct?
It's more like, international organization.
International. Yes. Okay. And your role is around knowledge management. So you said that your primary tool in your tool chest is communication. How much of that is the heavy part of what you do every day?
It has a lot had to do with communication. And I think I like to say that communication is somehow the arms of knowledge management. It's like sort of the knowledge manager is the head, the mind, and communication is the arm that helps reach what you're looking for. So it's the connector.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous. I love that.
I think anything is important, communication at work, but also relationship, anything. So I feel like if there's no communication, there's nothing to me.
I understand. And I like your analogy because I can envision that, and not only does it give you a reach capability, an ability to connect, away from yourself, to pull things in, but it also represents strength, right? So how strong is your communication? If it's weak, you're not going to be able to communicate well. I just find that so cool because to me, I think the muscle, if you will, if we'll keep going with that, if the muscle, you could strengthen your muscle is trust. Right? So the trust is what gives that strength to communication, because if you don't trust what you're receiving as far as information, data, or knowledge, you may not act on something that you should have because you didn't trust the data. In your day-to-day work, what challenges do you find as far as, you say you're in an international environment, so you're talking time zones, cultures, language, all kinds of possible barriers to communication. How do you navigate all that, and what tools do you use?
That's a great question. That's one of the main skills that I've learned through my 10 years of experience in the United Nations sector. Is really develop diplomatic skills and really like respect of diversity and different culture. With the UN, you always have to be always very political correct as well. So it's a lot that you take for granted sometimes, but it's a lot of work behind it. So it's really the best way is like getting to know the person first. Like you need to know the person and understand their context, where they come from, of course, the culture, and then sort of always come to a common understanding. And I think that's also valuable for a lot of other things. So it's really again, dialogue. And of course, experience helps a lot because also maybe I also had the chance to live in specific countries. So I had the chance to learn, hands-on on this on the culture. But really, it's really, I think another tool would be to listen. It's very hard sometimes.
Listening to understand, or listening to hear, I'll say, because sometimes listening is only listening for the chance to respond instead of understand. In this operation that you are in, what do you do to help build that skill amongst your peers and those who work for you?
It's I'm trying to work a lot now, just recently, on strengthening a little bit the team communication and knowledge flow, and really like even beyond that, like every time we organize a meeting or an event, I'm really trying to put on like this approach, which I actually learned from another mentor, which if I can mention his name is Richard Gold, which is a good person to also invite to the podcast, I would say.
Oh, I'm expecting an introductory email from you soon.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Great. And I really like his approach where when designing any type of meetings to follow this clear structure, which is basically connecting the C, listening, exploring, actions, and reflections. And I think that's is very enlightening to me. So I'm trying to apply this into everything we do.
Can you walk us through that again?
Yes.
What is the acronym?
So clear, and then it will be connecting as a first step. So you want to connect people on a personal level as well. So really connect people, and especially this makes a lot of sense also in this remote lifestyle that we were living in, but also in physical, but really connecting people. If it's virtual, then it's really like trying to have a virtual connection. If it's physical, it will be more personal. And then really the listening part, because this is something that we all have. I mean, for sure, I have to work on, and everyone. I think we have. No, not everyone. That's very good listener actually, but but I think there's a skill in a team that is very important to listen. So we have a moment where we actually listen to the different team members, and we create like an easy environment and a safe environment to share and listen. And then we got the exploring part, which is actually whatever we need to work on if we need to achieve some objectives. So we're trying to explore. And then once we explore and brainstorm, then we go into the actions. So, okay, what came out of that? We need to bring some concrete action. And then I like that part, the R, which is reflection, is really like reflecting on how the meeting went, if things went well, if we want to make it better. So basically learn and reflect on what it was and to make it better the next time. So I really love this clear structure.
That's
and
perfect.
It's really KM.
Yeah, it goes back to communication skills, period. Being able to empathize with your audience or connect with them. I think that's extremely important. Absolutely. And thank you for that. That's the first I've heard that format. So thank you.
Yeah, that's quoting Richard Gold. So copyright.
Richard Gold. That's all right. I'm sure that email introduction will be coming soon.
Yes, for sure.
To wrap things up, how do you view knowledge management, and what's your definition of it?
Yes. So when they ask me what's the definition, I'll say, is there really one definition of KM? I don't think there is one definition of KM because it's so diverse and embrace so many areas that probably there's not one unique definition. But my definition of KM could be, in a very short way, talking about communication, really getting the right knowledge to the right people at the right time. And I was thinking like, if knowledge management would be like a brand, I would probably have to think of a payoff for that, a slogan. But I would be like connecting people with people and people with information or knowledge, like really shortly. And, an more extended definition would be we're doing all that to really improve the way we do business and achieve a greater impact. And I see KM as a continuous improvement process. So it continues like new process where we're trying to do new things. Like I say, we reflect, we learn, we share, we adapt. So it's really like continuous. So I would say that.
What I hear, the essence of what you're saying is that provide an opportunity for innovation to happen and people to learn.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you, my friend. Is there any other comments or parting thoughts you would like to leave the audience with?
I mean,
come on, you got many thoughts. You have many, many thoughts.
Yeah,
I know you do.
I think it's like, I like that, like stay connected, stay connected. And
to me, to stay connected is work, right? You have to put in some effort to stay connected. And I think the challenge is a lot of people are more reserved and they're energy conscious. And after being remote work for X amount of time, staying connected is more of that, for the most part. And I think a lot of people are pulling back a little bit on the stay connected and just relying on business operations to be that connection. The challenge, I think, with this environment is that there may not be opportunity enough provided by the employer or the management of an organization to create the water cooler moments, if you will, digitally. To, hey, we're all getting together, but we're not going to talk work. We're just going to talk cats or gardening or something else, to build that relationship part.
Yeah, my meaning of stay connected was more like a personal, like beyond work or profession is like really like a deeper connection. And I feel like if that's connection and communication, I think that's what makes a team work. Anything, like I was saying also, like when you also dealing with stakeholders or like people in a different country or culture, like you need to connect, you need to know the person. So in order to know the person, you need to connect with the person.
You're talking individual skill sets, right? These are just people skills. And not everybody comes to the table with that.
Yeah, I know. That's hard to work with that. But I think you can work on that.
Sure. Yeah.
I think, but
can you hire for it? Can HR find the people that are people that are good community? I mean, is that something you can hire for?
Now more and more when you do interviews, you're looking at behavioral competencies more than, on top of work competencies. I've seen it. And even within my system, that's how we have a whole interview just about behavioral competencies, because it's playing a more and more important part, especially because we're working with people. And
right.
And that's very important to me.
Can you give me a couple of examples of what kind of questions would be on there?
Yeah, we have the usual one about teamwork. They want like examples. How did you manage a conflict situation, for example? Then you need to explain that. But also like how we have a lot like listening. There's like a competency on that. Be able to like talk to the team and like listen to feedbacks. But there's also, managing your time, your agenda, make sure, this is more like operational, but it's still like, make sure that you don't get stressed and manage the deadlines. But there's a lot about the teamwork and how you also like, as a supervisor, how you deal with the supervisees, how do you say?
Those who need supervised, yes.
But that's a lot. Like you have to study for that interview. It's a lot.
Well, thank you for giving us an inside view of where you are and what you're up to.
Well, thank you for having me here and listening.
Because You Need to Know is designed to bring people's experience and their knowledge forward to be shared. I'm Edwin K. Morris, and I thank you for joining in to listen to another conversation brought to you as a public service of Pioneer Knowledge Services. a nonprofit tax-exempt organization with a charitable knowledge management purpose. Find us online at pioneer-ks.org and add your voice to the conversation on Facebook.